You know, I wasn't even going to make a video on this Nintendo Direct, but after live streaming it and talking to you guys about what was coming out and our feelings on it, I feel like we really need to discuss this a little bit further and focus a lot more about the positives from it, because I really don't think it was as bad as a lot of people felt. JT. There was a ton of information covered in this Nintendo Direct, and I'm not even sure on where I should start, so I guess I'll just start at the beginning. The thing that caused a lot of controversy in the chat room during the live stream was all the 3DS games that Nintendo was announcing at the beginning of this Direct. And to be honest, this kinda showed a better direction on where Nintendo was going with the 3DS, and reassures me that their focus is on the Nintendo Switch. These games that they brought to us for the 3DS are basically filler games. There's nothing huge, no gigantic IP that they're focusing a ton of energy on. These are just some basic games, many of which that we already knew about, like Detective Pikachu, a game that's just weird. I don't know how to feel about Detective Pikachu. It may be good, it may be dumb, but I'm sure it will sell a lot, because the target audience for the 3DS seems to have been created specifically for a game like this. Another game that didn't look so bad was Dillon's Dead Heat Breakers. I wish this game was coming out for the Switch because it actually looks pretty fun. I just know for me personally, I'm not going to dedicate enough time on my 3DS console to get the full enjoyment out of this game. But if there's anything I've learned from Nintendo, and to a larger extent all game companies, is if you wait long enough and the game's good enough, it'll eventually be ported to the system that you're playing anyways. On top of that, they announced a new WarioWare title, WarioWare Gold, that has 300 minigames involved in it, and to be honest, that actually looks really fun as well, but I wish it was coming to the Switch, because I already have WarioWare games for my DS. I've already played the hell out of WarioWare games, and I feel like this is a good introduction for people who haven't played the WarioWare series, or an awesome game for people who are gigantic fans of the series, but outside of that, a lot of people are going to be passing on this title. And then more weirdness came in. Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Journey is announced for 2019. This was really weird. Why announce this game now? Just to let people know that you're working on 3DS titles in 2019? Is that a way to reassure fans that Nintendo has not forgotten about the 3DS, that they're still focused on making games for it, and here's some proof it's coming out in 2019? Great, I guess, for those people that want to be reassured that there are going to be games coming down the pipe for the 3DS in the future. But to me, it just felt strange that they were announcing it so early. They could have announced this at E3. Hell, they could have announced this during the fall Nintendo Direct. But right now just seems extremely early to get people amped and pumped about a game that's already been released before, with a few additions and a new story attached to it. And then finally, Luigi's Mansion was announced for the 3DS. I am the biggest fan of Luigi's Mansion series. I absolutely love Dark Moon, absolutely love the original Luigi's Mansion. But again, this was just weird. Why are you re-releasing a GameCube game on the 3DS? I mean, yes, I know you did Dark Moon, and this is the original, the prequel to it, if you will, so it's going to be on the same console. But I don't know one person that was asking for this. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just kind of strange, because I feel like the general opinion for the Luigi's Mansion series would be to be making a new Luigi's Mansion game for the Nintendo Switch. And by announcing that the original Luigi's Mansion is coming out for the 3DS, that's almost in a way confirmation that Nintendo doesn't plan on making a new Luigi's Mansion for the Switch anytime in the near future. And for that reason, I was a bit let down about it. But for those who haven't played the original Luigi's Mansion and don't have a GameCube, this is going to be a great outlet to get that enjoyment from it. The Direct then turns its attention to the Nintendo Switch, which is what most people are watching it for anyways. They kicked this off with information on Kirby Star Allies coming out very soon, and that it's going to be receiving free updates and adding fan-favorite playable characters to the game. It looks like a really fun game. My problem with the Kirby games, and this is something that I feel like a lot of people are dealing with, there are so many Kirby games out there, and I've fallen behind in the series, which is all my fault because I've put my attention on other games. But the problem is, I'm personally having trouble getting excited for the new Kirby games when I've yet to play really good Kirby games that are already out right now that I plan on getting to in the near future. They then talked about Project Octopath Traveler and how it will be launching on the Nintendo Switch the 13th of July. This is one game that I knew I'd be picking up even before the Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch in 2018. And after watching this Direct, it only solidified my opinion that this is going to be one of the best Nintendo Switch games to release in 2018. Also, they ditched the word project at the beginning of it, so maybe I should just start calling it Octopath Traveler. Along with the game, they announced a special edition with a pop-up book, a sound selection CD, and a replica coin based on the in-game currency, along with a world map. This looks like a pretty cool special edition, and I'll be interested in checking it out depending on the price of it. If it's gonna be under 80 bucks, I'll probably get the special edition, but outside of that, I'll probably just stick to the non-special edition version. Then they started talking about what we're getting used to the Switch being, a port machine. And I'm not against these ports at all. I'm all for the more games, the merrier. It's just a little bit frustrating to see that they're focusing attention on ports instead of original titles. But hey, there's some of these ports that I've never played before, hadn't had the opportunity to play, and I would love the ability to play some of these on the go, especially Okami HD, which is another port. It's like the fourth port of it. Little Nightmares Complete Edition. I never got the chance to play that on my PS4, so I'll definitely be picking that up for the Switch. Then they announced Dark Souls, which is coming out with its own amiibo, which for those who are interested in it, great, that's pretty cool. Didn't really do anything for me though. Other ports they talked about, the Captain Toad version coming out with some additional levels, and it will be coming to the Switch and the 3DS. The Crash Bandicoot trilogy, and probably most important out of all the ports, South Park Fractured Butthole coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Which the reason why I say this is extremely important is because to me it proves that they're going to be putting Grand Theft Auto 5 on the system. If they're going to go with that mature content like South Park, then there's no reason why they'd say no to Grand Theft Auto on the Nintendo Switch. I'd imagine they're just waiting to get together with Rockstar at E3 and announce that together. And a lot of people who are watching the live stream tuned in to find out that it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. This thing was missing a ton of information. They didn't announce anything about Mario Maker on the Switch. They didn't announce anything about a new Luigi's Mansion, Metroid Prime 4, no new information, nothing about F-Zero, nothing about the online service, the Virtual Console, apps, YouTube, Netflix, nothing. And I feel like a lot of people had the expectation going into this Direct that at least some of those things would be discussed and shed a light as to when this is happening, if ever, on the Nintendo Switch. But for me personally, being realistic, I play so many video games. All day, every day, I am playing video games. And it's still not enough time to play all the video games that are coming out that I'm interested in. So for people to be upset about a Nintendo Direct that doesn't specifically talk about something that they're looking forward to, I feel like that's a little bit short-sighted, because I'd recommend taking a step back and looking at how great it's been for the gamer these past few years, how incredible the Nintendo Switch is, how many awesome games are available for it right now, not to mention all the ones that will be coming out shortly for it, and temper your expectations, because there's still a lot of time left in this year, and E3 is right around the corner, and I feel like that's when Nintendo's going to be announcing a lot of these things that we're expecting to hear more about. As for everything else, they spent about 5 minutes talking about Mario Tennis Aces, which they prepped us for before the Direct came, so I was expecting that to be heavily focused on for the Direct. I wasn't disappointed by the showing of it. It looks exciting. It looks like it's got a really deep level of gameplay to it, along with a casual mode as well, so it can be enjoyed by everybody. I feel like that's going to be a perfect game for the online component to it, assuming it works well. But I'm not in a huge rush to go spend a full $59.99 MSRP on a sports title, but if it's priced less than that, I'd be a little bit more interested. So depending on the direction they go with the pricing of this will determine how excited I am about Mario Tennis Aces. Other quick hits, Nintendo talked again about Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes, which to me, I'm not huge on No More Heroes. I never really got into the first game, so it's hard for me to get excited about this sequel, no matter how much Nintendo keeps pushing it. It looks fun, but again, I'm going to play the original No More Heroes before I get amped for the sequel of it. They also said Undertale is coming to the Switch. Pumped about Undertale, but I've already played it, beaten it 3 times on my PC. I feel like that's a great thing for people who have never experienced Undertale on their own. For me, I'm probably going to pass on it because I've played it so many times already, but for everyone else, get pumped about Undertale. This game is awesome. And they announced that Splatoon 2 will have an update that will allow players to rise to rank X, And along with that, there's going to be a Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, and that will add a brand new single player campaign mode this summer. It's going to be perfect for those who are excited about Splatoon 2 and give them additional content to continue playing it, but for everyone outside of that, it's probably going to be more of a wait and see. And that's pretty much everything that Nintendo talked about in this Direct. Oh wait, there was this one more thing. Oh, man, I will tell you, during the live stream, I had chills when I was watching this part. When you see the reflection in that Inkling's eye that Smash Brothers is coming to the Switch, I was beyond pumped. This was exactly what I wanted to be hearing. And yes, we all knew it was eventually coming to the Switch. It was just a matter of when. And I said since day one that the Smash Brothers would be coming out in 2018 alongside the release of the online service. And while that might be a little too soon for it to actually be happening, at least Nintendo is coming out with Smash Brothers right after the online service, and they're probably going to have a major push to sell the online service to people, and Smash Brothers is going to be the key to doing that. Overall, I thought it was a solid Nintendo Direct. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10, which is a little bit above average. They came through with some things that I was expecting, they hit on some major points, and Smash Brothers got confirmed. That put it over the top for me as far as being better than average. Now, yes, they could have addressed a lot of the things that we have concerns and questions about, but again, it's before E3, so I'm not going to get mad at Nintendo for not addressing it, but believe me, if Nintendo doesn't talk about this stuff at E3, there's going to be some serious problems going forward. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought about the Nintendo Direct, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.